Moist. Welcome to the video everyone. I hope you're all sufficiently moist and not forgetting your 5 a day. An apple, orange, tomato soup, kebab and a healthy dose of baked beans so you can let off a stink bomb under the covers as your partner sleeps. Good times. So Dyinglight 2 released recently and there have been lots of videos out there, most of them positive I might add. This video however I want to go back in time and discuss the differences about Dyinglight and Dyinglight 2. Now of course there will be obvious differences, however there are things most people don't think about when playing the game, and a lot of people playing right now have never played the original Dyinglight, so they might not understand just how different it is, and even to us big fans of the game who are now balls deep into Dyinglight 2 may have forgotten about the original and what it really achieved. And in a nutshell, what I'm saying is Dyinglight and Dyinglight 2 are very different games, apart from the obvious like some gameplay, controls, and too many phone calls at those very inconvenient moments. Like seriously man, come on. Being chased by a volatile and having someone ring you up in the middle of the night is really not the best combination. So I would like to ask you, the audience, what's missing from Dyinglight 2? Is it just me, or are many features missing from the original game? I feel a slight emptiness walking through the streets, and don't get me wrong, I think the idea of more zombies coming out at night is a good idea, but walking around in the daytime in Dyinglight 2 is about as scary as children selling lemonade for charity. I just don't feel afraid walking the streets in Dyinglight 2, and even at night it's really not difficult to escape the chase. Hardly any volatiles on the streets, and if any, and the howlers are easy to kill if they're just onto you. You just, walk up with a machete and job done. It feels to me that this game is just too easy. So that being said, I went back to playing Dyinglight, and as suspected, it felt a lot more intimidating at night. You actually feel a sense of danger, kind of like when your mother takes her slipper off and beats you with it because you snuck downstairs and opened a Christmas present early. Childhood memories are precious. The zombies are much more densely populated, making walking across the rooftops and using parkour actually relevant. I just can't stand the fact that some areas of the map in Dyinglight 2 feel empty and such a waste of space. Of course the developers wanted a bigger surface area to play around with, but what's the point if there isn't anything there? It's just like GTA San Andreas in the desert. Just seems a waste in my opinion. There are of course cool new features and in Dyinglight 2, and small trampolines, for example, parachutes, along with a system of character building straight from Assassin's Creed. Like seriously, you couldn't come up with something original? I think a lot of games are going this way and have been for a while now, and in my personal opinion it's lazier than my father after 6 beers and a kebab, when he was around should I say. Although it seems like a rip-off, it's still a nice new feature I guess. The huge open world is a lot bigger than expected and has huge potential for DLC. Traversing the map, I was surprised just how big it was, and I'm not just talking about the interiors but the vertical aspect too. The whole idea of factions were a bit confusing the way they were implemented, and as far as I'm concerned they're about as useless as a chocolate teapot. I barely use the so-called advantages they provide, and I honestly feel like it could have been easily done better without factions involved. I think the original Dyinglight did it better by keeping things simple and to the point. Aiden's story for the vast majority of the game seems boring and irrelevant when doing side quests for factions and so on. Sometimes I think the story focuses on the factions more than Aiden's actual objective, which just makes me not give a shit. I mean seriously, how many times do you need to choose that I'm looking for my sister options in conversations? You might as well just say you're looking for a bag of weed. All in all, I honestly think the original was a little bit better, and now I realise why it was going through development hell. There's not much going on right now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care and keep it moist. Moist.